Dear viewers, welcome to the weekly roundup. I'm just going to pretend nothing happened. Thanks for joining. I'm making an episode every week, usually at least, so if you enjoyed this, subscribe. And let's dive in. Starting with reveals and announcements. Timberborn, the beaver town builder set in an apocalyptic age where beavers replaced mankind, is about to release a very interesting feature. Golems. These new units are basically workers that carry out the mundane tasks like farming, harvesting, woodcutting and mining, so your beavers don't have to. However, there's a catch. More than one. First, you need to make these golems, which requires a special new resource that currently doesn't exist within the game. Second, the golems have a finite lifespan and some other quirky features. If you don't maintain them, they can explode and hurt or kill your beavers. When they are at the end of their life cycle, you should recycle them in a disposal facility, or the golem starts leaking acid waste, once again killing your beavers. Really quite interesting and probably fairly challenging as well. New golems as well as more gameplay features related to mid and end game can be expected in Update 2, which arrives soon. TM. ANVIL, the Korean early access ARPG, received huge backlash, including from myself, when they introduced the pay-to-win premium battle pass last season. It was just not the right move, and lo and behold, the main dev for ANVIL, Wonho Son, released a statement saying that Season 2 of ANVIL will not have a premium battle pass anymore. The gamers once again are victorious. While the devs shouldn't have done this in the first place, it is commendable that they still reverted the decision and will hold off on battle passes until the 1.0 release of the game. That means that next season you can just play for free the battle pass and unlock all the goodies that way, like it should be, at the very least for early access. Good decision, great game as well by the way, and I'm happy to see that the devs are listening to feedback here. Sovereign Syndicate, a CRPG set in Victorian steampunk London, had a playtest with around 500 people. They received feedback and here are the plans for development. The game will get some character customization, better dialogue flow and readability, and less convoluted character sheet and design choices. I'm simply intrigued by this game and I really hope it comes out swinging. Put it on your wish list if you like what you see, because I do. Alaloth, Champions of the Four Kingdoms, is a real-time isometric ARPG with skill-based combat, a vast world and hopefully intriguing storylines. This is also a game, however, that's been in development hell for years, but like the ancient Greeks already knew, sometimes you can escape from hell. And the devs from Gamera are certainly trying. After taking back the project in their own hands and cutting ties with the publisher, they have been working on the game pretty much non-stop, and the result so far, at least, is a brand new trailer. You're watching that trailer right now. I'm watching the trailer as I write this. My first reaction here is that it looks a little bit outdated, which makes sense because this game was supposed to release 4 years ago. Apart from that, however, I do like what I see with large towns, NPCs, atmospheric environments, the combat which looks fairly smooth and it's all mostly there. And this summer it is likely going to be in early access. Last Epoch completed its community designed unique, a new weapon created by the community by voting on some multiple choice polls, which ultimately led to this spear, the Lament of the Refuge. It is an interesting item with a big downside. By casting Volcanic Orb and the shrapnel from that orb hitting you, you gain a buff that grants spell damage and movement speed. However, if you use a movement skill, the buff is lost. That's pretty bad for bosses, straight up, because those are designed with movement skills in mind, meaning you have to use them. Another criticism I have, and that is true for a lot more uniques in Last Epoch, is that they are super specific. There's really only one archetype, and I think really only one build you can play with this, which I feel is too narrow of a scope for such a unique. I wish these items were a bit more generic somehow, so you still have some room to actually theory craft and think about how to use this. Here, there are basically no other options than to make a spellblade with Volcanic Orb. Other than the actual item, I think the initiative was great, and I'm sure they'll do it again someday. Proceeding with the Patch Plaza, bringing an overview of patch news. Achilles Legends Untold released quite a few patches after launching. It sits at a 70% positive rating. You can pick it up for €19, and some of the changes already made to the game are an in-game roadmap so you can see what is upcoming. You can change the difficulty at any time. More items drop across the board. There's now an unstuck button, automated inventory sorting, and a whole bunch of bug fixes. I might get on board with this game and track its progress. The beta was pretty fun after all. Striving for Light, the indie and interestingly styled ARPG, released a big content update. Expect a new boss type, 3 gatekeepers with unique loot. There's a new map, Eternal Sands, with new enemies and map bosses. There are new advanced map and an endgame progression system. And finally, new skills and weapons. This game has been consistently updated the last few months, and it's really time, as soon as I find some time, to dive back in and check it all out. Then releases, looking back at what released last month, and I'm really gonna cover only a few titles here because otherwise this video gets insanely long, right? But one of the things that released was Sanctum Breach Rebirth, rising from the ashes of its dead predecessor. This game, made by just one dev, has all the ambition you could wish for, but it never had the content and polish to back that up, and I'm unsure if the remake fares any better. I will be playing this game one day and check it out for you guys, but Sam himself already shows the risk of being a solo dev. He's taken on a full-time job, meaning that development of this game, which is very early access and which you can purchase on Steam, will be significantly slowed down. Buying this game is a huge risk, and I would recommend against it, no matter how much I want to support projects like this. Silt released, the Limbo-inspired underwater diving puzzle game. Reviews on Steam are mixed so far at 68%, with many people praising the visual style and ambience. However, it seems to be a case of style over substance, because many gamers don't enjoy the puzzles, too easy, and the game's length of only 3 hours. Let's look at what's releasing this week, and I can't find a single interesting game, to be honest, so we will leave it at that. This week's sort of free games, because I'm Dutch and I'm cheap. Epoch offers Wolfenstein: The New Order, great game, I played it and I finished it, it's lots of fun. And then time for some personal updates. What have I been up to? Well, last month I just took a bit of a break, which I sometimes do. I'm usually very passionate about making videos, but I can't always put myself to it, and when that happens, I just tend to take a little break and just play games or enjoy the sun, or, you know, work hard in real life, which is what I've been doing. In particular, I've been playing Path of Exile, the new league. I think it's amazing. But even before the league started, I didn't really make the roundup for that week, so it wasn't just PoE, it was a bit more than that. But for me, it's the only way to keep my sanity. I've been making content for 8 years now, and I have a full-time job next to that for all of that time, so this is really a secondary thing, hence the breaks every now and then. I hope you understand. And that's it. If you have any questions or remarks, put them in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and you want more like this, consider liking the video or even subscribing. Thanks for watching and for making it to the end. Love you all. See you soon. Bye bye.